Here we go, chapter 39. He interrupted such sweet stories, Trimarchius, for already now the dish had been taken away, and the conviviae, the partiers, who were in hilarious spirits, they began to turn their attention to wine and a bit of public conversation. He then reclined in his cubitum, and he said, "This wine, you really ought to make some sweetness out of it or enjoy it or something like that. Fishes ought to swim," which is a bit odd that that's singular, but it's an impersonal verb. A cubitum and a cubitus are elbows. It's also the state of reclining. So sometimes I say he reclined on his elbow, other times he reclined in a reclining position. Anyway, I ask, do you think me to be content with this dinner, contentum and ablative dinner, and what do you see in the lid or the covering of this tray? Here's a quote from Virgil. "Are you the known Ulysses?" Or basically says, "You know who I am," or something. "Quid ergo est." So basically, what then now? You ought to know, or you even ought to know, philologia, which is a love of learning and reading. Amongst dinner, you ought to know, I guess, the Greek style of learning, because this is Ulysses, or maybe it just involves Latin as well, since it was Virgil. "Let my bones rest well to my patron." So you'd normally think that a genitive in English, the bones of my patron. He wanted me to be a man amongst men. "For to me, nothing of new is able to be brought in." So it's that genitive partitive there. So nothing new is able to be brought to me. So, he's rich, he's seen everything. Just as this dish was already an activity that he knows. Praxim is an activity. You can tell that's accusative with the eye. There's a few Latin words that do that. This caelus, another heaven sort of word, in which the 12 gods inhabit, has the same amount of figures it converts itself into. Let's be the star signs. And now it's become Aries, star figure, the star sign. And so anyone who's born under this sign, or whatever you want to call it, star sign, he'll have much herd animals, probably sheep, which rams are the male of, much of wool, head besides, which is durus, it's hard, enduring, a front, which is probably its forehead, which is expuderatum, shameless or something, and horns, which is sharpish. So these 12 gods, the Loeb has them in the footnote. Says, what do we got? 12 chief Roman gods: Jupiter, Juno, Mars, Venus, Apollo, Vulcan, Mercury, Minerva, Diana, Vesta, Ceres, and Neptune. Plurimi, many, in this sign who are born are scholasts, scholars, they like learning, and a very ramish, like, of the kind like a butting ram sort of thing. We praise the urbanity, the wit or whatever of the mathematici, the astrologers, and then he added this. Then the whole heavens become a little Taurus, a little bull, Taurus the star sign. And then the Chalcitrosi are born, people who like to kick with their heels, and oxen and bulls, I suppose, those who like to pascunt themselves. They like to feed themselves, find their own food, as they say. However, in Gemini, under Gemini, are born, this is like a twin racing chariot or something, and bulls, and something to do with spinning wool or something, and those who line on both walls. I was reading in Collins' dictionary the other day, there's a phrase where you paint two walls from one bucket, and the Loeb sort of implies this here as well. Kill two birds with one stone, paint two walls from one bucket. So there's people who sit on the fence apparently. Okay, Daily Dictionary, easy big A, 2-horse chariots. Praxis we saw earlier was the accusative with the M. And what's another word here? Phlogia, love of learning, study of literature. Should all make that pretty easy. Okay, now I'm born in Cancer, it says here. Cancro's a crab. Idiot, for this reason I stand on many feet. How many feet do crabs have? Anyway, and in the sea and in the land I possess Malta. Neuter plural, many things I possess in land and sea. For the cancer of the crab, it squares off with hicanilloc, both the sea correlative and the land. And for this reason again, yam dudum, which means for now for some time. Sometimes it just means right now, so I guess he's talking about now. I place nothing above it. So he's put nothing on top of his crab. Lest my genesis, my birth, I should press it down or weigh it down. In Leo the lion, the gourmets are born, and the imperiosa people, those who throw the weight around, I guess. In Virgo, women, fugitives, slaves, and people in shackles. In Libra, your butchers and your ointment people and your whoever weighs things out. In Scorpio, the poisoners, the assassins. In Sagittarius, the strabones. These are the people who inspect garden green things. Strabones are squinty people who squint. They look at vegetables and they take away fatty things. In Capricorn are the troublesome, to who their bad things or the bad luck cause horns to be growing. Okay, you think Capricorn would have something to do with horns, I suppose. Sagittarius should have been archers, but as we see, it's people who squint. Anyway, in Aquarius, there's the innkeepers and shopkeepers, and the cucurbita. In Pisces, people who get shopping and do rhetoric. Okay, well, this is cucumbers in things like columella. Apparently, it's also a blockhead, which Lewis and Short, it's a gourd, or which can be pumpkins and things, but Petronius refers to a blockhead. And this is Petronius, so there you go. Thus the world turns just as a millstone, and always makes something of bad. Another genitive, partitive, genitive, makes something of badness. As men are either born or they die. Now, what you see in the middle is this tuft of grass, and on top of the caspitem is a honeycomb. I do nothing without a reason. It is Mother Earth in the middle, just as a corundated ovum. Second time this month I've seen corotunda, means to make something round. Sometimes when you count out money, it's used for rounding off as well. So it's round like an ovum, an egg, and everything good, a honeycomb, it has just as a, I guess the egg has everything just as a, everything good in itself, it has. And that's it.